Hi, I'm Nigel the Shanghai Psychic. I can tune into your loved ones in the spirit world, but I can also tune into you, tell you about your path and the choices that you need to make and need to know. I'm currently giving 30% discount on all Tell Craig Your Story listeners. Just use the code Tell Craig Your Story for 30% off your first psychic reading with me online at Nigel the Shanghai Psychic.
Black China, baby.
Yeah, we know we don't play around with no other podcaster in Shanghai. There's only one guy on my side, and his name is Craig. Check him out. Skinny OG, boy. If you got a story to tell, call Craig. The government been checking your mail. Just call Craig. Your ex-girlfriend just fell down a well. Call Craig. They say they about to put you in jail. Just call Craig. Call Craig. Call Craig. Hey, you go and tell Craig. Call Craig. Call Craig. Hey, you go and tell Craig. Call Craig. Call Craig. Hey, you go and tell Craig. The only podcast that's ringing the bell. Call Craig. Boy, you know who to find. Just go tell him your story, it'll be fine. You know, have a good time. Yeah, this your boy Skinny OG. One love, big up to my boys. Tell Craig your story. Check him out now.
Hello everyone, Craig here. Welcome to another edition of the podcast, Tell Craig Your Story. Today we have a very special guest on the podcast. It's one of my all-time guitar heroes, former Megadeth lead guitarist Marty Friedman. Now Marty will be touring China for his new album Drama, which was released last year, and he'll be hitting Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou. And it's the first time that he'll actually bring his band to China. And we talk about the success of Drama. Now Marty has also released his new autobiography, Dreaming Japanese. We also talk about his bands that he used to be in, Cacophony, Deuce, and Hawaii. And we talk about some of the tryouts that he had prior to Megadeth. And some listeners will be very shocked. Now, Marty's move to Japan has definitely paid off. He's turned into a Japanese celebrity, where he's featured on talk show hosts. He's produced some of the biggest names in Japanese music, and he's also been featured in a new Japanese movie. Now, we're also running a competition to win 2 free tickets to Marty Friedman's show in Shanghai on the 15th of May. All you need to do is take a screenshot that you have shared the podcast on any of your social medias and answer the following question. What celebrity Chinese pop star does Marty Friedman want to collaborate with? Now, if you can send me the answer via a direct message on WeChat or to my email address, cjmaguire@hotmail.com. Now, all the information will be in the description, and we'll make the announcement on the 8th of May on our social medias. But before we go, please go to our website. We're at Podbean. Tell Craig Your Story at podbean.com. We have a link tree there which tells you where Tell Craig Your Story podcast is streaming. We're on all the major streaming services. So make sure you're subscribing and liking, and also give us a 5-star review if you're liking our content. Now, for our Chinese listeners, just like Marty Friedman, we're on Bilibili. We're also on Red Note, WeChat, and TikTok. All right, here we go. This is my chat with Marty Friedman on Tell Craig Your Story podcast.
Tell Craig your story.
Hi, Marty. How you doing this morning?
Nice to meet you, Craig. How you doing?
Nice to meet you too. Great to talk to you. So, straight up, you're coming to China to do a tour for your new album, Drama. I've noticed you've also been to the US and Japan. You've done some tours there for that. How has the tour been going so far? And has it been good to catch up with family and friends in the US?
Oh, the tour has just been awesome. It keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. My band just keeps outshining me every night, and that's the way I like it. And chemistry just keeps getting better and better. It's so exciting. And this will be my first live tour of China. Of course, I played there many times in several different capacities, but this is the first time I'm going to take my band to China. So we are so excited to do this. I was just in China for the Billy New
Yes,
Year's
I was going to ask you about that.
extravaganza, and what a show that was. And after that, I went to China to do the music expo, and I couldn't believe the kind of support that was coming my way. And everybody just wanted a tour to happen, and it happened very quickly. We put it together, and next month we'll be in China playing. So it's very exciting.
And you speak about your band. I mean, I've read things and I've seen video clips on YouTube. It's a really tight band. How did these guys all come together? I noticed that your drummer's been in the band for nearly 13 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah. He's the longest running member. The guitar player Naoki's been in my band about 8 years now, and the
Yes.
bassist Wakazaima been in the band almost 4 years.
Right.
So this is the permanent lineup. This is the lineup that it's changing the name of the project from Marty Friedman to Marty Friedman Band. I mean, it is a band,
Yeah.
and a lot of people know my albums, and it's just my name. But when you see the show, there's no question that it's a band. It's a four-cornered diamond. It's not just one guy and a bunch of guys backing him up. It's a band. I think a lot of people who haven't seen us before are going to be very, very surprised at just how much attention that they draw
Yes.
and that they draw away from me, which is just fine with me.
Yeah. And looking at the set list, and I don't want to give too much away, I like how you've got a really good variety in your set, like not just the new album. Obviously, you're going to play songs from the new album, but again, don't want to give too much away. But I see that you're playing a Megadeth song, which is awesome. It's all your career. Is that because of these guys, musicianship?
No. I mean, musicianship is a given. I mean,
Yeah.
any band that I've ever played with has just been the top musicians, but it's really more about the chemistry that you cannot describe and you can't practice and you can't wish for it. It's just got to happen. And that seems to have happened in this band. We choose the material together, and there are many, many reasons for each choice. And all of the songs are done in special live versions
Right.
that are distinctively tailored to a live performance. Whereas when I'm making the albums, they're made for like a sit down and listen kind of experience. But in the live interpretations, it's all about bringing the audience in with us,
Yeah.
100% including the audience with us, having them participate with us. Most importantly, having them leave feeling uplifted and feeling, wow, I feel really good now. I was feeling kind of down before the show, but now I feel awesome. I'm ready to
Yes.
face the week. Just a real positive experience is what we shoot for in arranging our live performances and songs.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Japanese crowd, I went to Japan last year and saw Queen play. And what I found interesting was that when they finished playing the song, the crowd would then clap and then they'd be dead silent. Is that a culture thing? And how does that go with your band and when you're playing in Japan? I mean, does that you feed off the energy, right? How does that work for you?
Yeah, that's kind of a cultural thing,
Right.
but we try to avoid that. We try to avoid that, and the way to avoid that is to keep the audience engaged with us. It's not like play a song, have applause, and go to the next song. We don't really do that so much. We I don't want to say skits because that makes it sound kind of like a comedy, but we have sections where we're talking to each other, where we're stopping songs in the middle and changing things and getting the audience involved and making the audience chant things at us. And it's really that those are the type of things that allows us to avoid that kind of lull where they clap and then they stop,
Right.
because that is what would normally happen in a Japanese concert. It's really actually a sign of respect because they're clapping and they want to hear everything the way they want to hear the next song. And once the band starts, it's like quiet out there because they're listening.
Mm.
Unlike in other countries where they're just going crazy the whole
Yes.
time,
Yes.
which as a player, I like them both a lot. I like when the audience is going crazy, you're a little bit less conscious about playing everything exactly so accurate. But when
Yes.
the audience is silent, it's like they are listening to every nuance and every note, so you better do it right.
Yes.
But we're all about entertaining, so we're not really that concerned about accuracy. I mean, even when we're not playing our best, it's pretty damn accurate. And accuracy is not like something that you walk away from the concert saying, wow, that band was great. They were so accurate. Who
Yes.
cares? I want people to walk away from the concert saying, that was so entertaining. I completely lost myself in the 90 minutes or 120 minutes they played. That really involves with getting the audience into the show and having them participate as much as possible. Obviously the clapping, having them clap to beats and stuff, and having them chant certain things and having them answer questions while we're playing. It's really kind of an art that we are developing a lot. And the more, the better, because our music is instrumental, so they don't have lyrics. So we want to use every weapon we can to get people literally in the band for the time we're playing.
Got it. Absolutely. And when was the first time that you did come to China? Was it 2018? And what was your first
Uh,
impressions of China?
no, I've been coming to China for a lot. I'd done a lot of like guitar seminars there.
Right.
Even in the early 2000s. No one was really doing it back then. I was kind of one of the first guys to really do kind of high profile guitar events in the early 2000s. And then I toured with Ame,
Right.
and I guess is you could compare her to like a Beyonce of Asia. And we toured in so many cities in China, I can't even count them. And what really left a big impression on me when I tour with Ame, first of all, she's the greatest singer ever. I love her so much.
Yes.
But the biggest impression was we'd go to these cities and I didn't know the name of the city, never heard of it. But you get there, it's like 10 times as big as New York.
Yes.
And it's like a massive metropolis, but I've never heard the name of the city before. It's like, how many different metropolises are there? It's
Yes.
like being on a different planet. I just loved every minute of it. Of course, the food. The people were just so really receptive to what we were doing and just so passionate about music, and just loved being in China. And for my first solo tour of China, it's a big thrill for me and my band to go there.
Yes. And you're doing Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou, three biggest
Guangzhou,
cities.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
comparison there, I'm from Australia. We have 26 million people. That's how many people are in the city of Shanghai. So there you go. So it's
There you go, the whole country.
yeah. And speaking of Australia, are there any plans of going down to Australia on this tour this year or next year?
I really hope so. We're trying, our goal is to play everywhere on drama. We played America. We're going to probably play there again. And we're playing Latin America and South America
Yes.
and China and a lot of festivals in Japan. We're doing more festivals in Japan than ever, which is great.
Fantastic.
Um, we talked about doing an Australian tour earlier this year. We decided to go with America instead for a lot of reasons, but Australia is a fantastic territory for us. We played there, I think, maybe 5 years ago,
Yes.
and so it's about time. We're planning to hit everywhere on drama. It's just a matter of logistics,
Yes.
making it happen.
That's very encouraging, Marty. I hope we can get down
Yeah.
there eventually. So,
Hey,
and
your accent makes me want to go to Australia right now.
it's well, being a teacher here now, it's I've tried to neutralize my accent, but yes, uh,
It's not neutralized, man.
no, no. When I go to America, I have people that want sit next to me at the bar and they just want to listen to me talk.
Yeah,
Can
I
you?
get it. I totally get it. I
Yeah.
agree.
And you're speaking about Billy Billy for New Year's last year. You are now on the Billy Billy website now. And for people who don't know, it's like the YouTube. Excited to be on Billy Billy as well, because that'll just branch out to huge audiences.
Yeah, Billy is just as big as YouTube. I
Yeah.
mean, in China, you can't watch YouTube, correct?
Yes. You need a
There
VPN. Yeah.
probably are some weird ways to watch it, but like normally, if you just plug in, you can't see YouTube. So what they have is Billy, which is amazing because once I got on there, there was all kinds of videos that I've never seen before and
Yes.
just really rare stuff and cool stuff. And so when I did their New Year's thing, the staff there was so incredibly friendly and we got on so well. We made a whole lot of really nice connections. And I got started on Billy. Lo and behold, the tour's happening. And a lot of things are going to be cultivating China for me because it's a territory that's only growing and growing.
Yeah.
Rock music and electric guitar music is relatively new compared to like the other territories in the world. And believe me, they are catching the fever. There's a
Yes.
lot of really cool bands in China, really cool guitar players and instrumentalists of every instrument. And I'm very, it's kind of I'm proud that I was kind of one of the first guys to go over there and spread electric guitar disease to people, get people hooked on it, and
That's
then
awesome.
and every year it seems like more and more excitement and adrenaline is going towards the instrument of guitar and heavy music and rock music over in China. So I can feel like a little bit of pride from taking a little part of that and want to continue that in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. You can feel it because when you say that you play guitar, oh, really? You play guitar? Wow. They're really shocked and amazed, and they want to see you play. So, yeah, it's definitely a huge market for you, Marty. That'd be really, really cool. And it's close to your home in Japan. Like, I do believe
Close
Shanghai
here.
to Osaka is like 90-minute 2 hour flight. Right?
Yeah, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And the people are so receptive to yeah, musical concepts, and China has a very rich musical history, which I've studied a lot, and it's
Hmm.
influenced me a lot. So,
Yes.
and even current Chinese pop music, I'm a big fan of it, and have always been a huge fan of Jay Chou. And every time I talk
Right.
China, I'm literally blathering on about Jay Chou, and that's only because I want to work with him so badly
Yes.
that I say it every single time, and one time it's going to hit. Maybe it's going to be our podcast here today. So, Jay Chow, if you're listening, anytime, call me up. I'll be there. But there's a lot of, things in Chinese music that have influenced my music a lot.
Yeah.
You can hear it on Drama album. You can hear it on my Scenes album a lot. It's just there. So it's really nice to go to one of the places that was a part of my musical history.
Absolutely. And have they told you about any sort of restrictions about what you can and can't play here? If it is lyrically, because every time my band plays here, we have to submit videos and lyrics and just to say, okay, it's not over the top. Okay, you can go and play. Have they given you any restrictions?
I've not got any restrictions, but we did have to submit the set list
Right, right.
and have that list reviewed, and I'm totally fine with that. Every country has
Yeah,
completely different cultures and different ways of doing things, and it's just that's what makes it fun. So it was nice to get the okay. I wasn't worried at all, but you never know. All my album covers have been okay, I guess. So
yes.
we're fine.
Excellent. And the new album, Drama, it's been well accepted. Been on the clock listening to it the last couple of weeks. And what I found is that it flows. Did you try and do that? Try and tell a story in this album?
If that's what you got from it, then that's absolutely perfect. I think subliminally, I'm always trying to tell a story within each song's framework. since I don't have lyrics or vocals, I have to have someone take the place of the vocalist,
Right.
and that's what my guitar does. So my guitar is literally singing to you. And so you can't just sing a bunch of gibberish. You have to sing something that the listener will feel like they're listening to someone telling them a story.
Yes.
And so that is a definite goal that I'm shooting for. And when I'm listening back to my demos, if I'm not feeling that myself, then I just throw the song away. And I throw away 90% of what I do, and most of it's garbage. But when I keep something, it really is. I mean, but when I keep something, I really believe in it so much to the point that I can let it go, and I don't feel bad if people don't like it. If I were to just put anything out and people don't like it because it sucked, then that would be my fault. But the way I've been working for the last couple decades, I love it. So I can't control whether listeners are going to love it, but at least I'm very pleased with it. And so any kind of criticism really doesn't phase me at all because
Yeah.
it is what I want it to be, and
Yeah.
you can't control people's emotions. But thankfully and very pleasantly, people have responded to drama better than any of my previous
Yeah.
albums. It's been a blessing. It's just been wonderful all around the world.
Oh, I read that you had maybe 40 or 50 track or ideas this new album. Is that true?
I probably had more.
Yeah,
Like I
right.
said, I make a lot of demos. I throw them away, and I complete them before I throw them away. There's a lot. When I was a lot younger, I used to work on things so hard that by the time I'm finished with it, I put so much energy into it. It absolutely has to be released.
Yeah.
Didn't matter if it's any good or not.
Right.
Didn't matter if I liked it anymore. I just worked so hard on it that it must be good.
Yes.
And that's I learned as an adult that that mindset is terrible because you could be polishing a turd for a month and you use so much energy, you fool yourself into thinking it's good. But the only way to know if it's good is if you listen back and you love it. It's that simple. Has no bearing on how much you've worked on it. So I've learned from that growing up, and so I've worked a lot more on the things that got thrown away than what got used.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You learn from it. And are you using the same guitars in the studio as what you're using on stage?
Definitely not.
Okay.
On drama, definitely not. On drama, I had the great fortune of I have a dear friend in Italy named Franco Piona who owns maybe three or four hundred perfectly maintained, beautiful vintage guitars.
Right.
Each one of these guitars has magic. They're from like the 50s and 60s, 70s. And he's a master guitar luthier and guitar technician. So he maintained these guitars and he allowed me to use all of them and guitar tech for me on the album. So I'm using all of these very precious magical instruments. Live, I'm using my signature model, which sounds
Right.
great, but
Right.
obviously is not going to replicate the exact same sounds.
Yeah, right. One of the singles off the album, Illumination. What does this song mean to you?
A lot of the songs I wrote with ideas that come completely out of nowhere, and they start with like a small seed of an idea. And Illumination, I've had the intro to Illumination for the longest time, and I could never connect it to anything and make a full song out of it.
Right.
And if you think about it, the intro and the main part
Yeah.
of the song really are not related. And I tried so hard to make them belong in the same song because one pet peeve I have is when, especially in instrumental music, guys just tack one idea onto the other and there's no real flow, there's no real meaning. It's just like, I got this idea, I got this idea,
Right.
kind of like the Beatles' Abbey Road.
Yes.
It's like
That's a
I
good.
really hated that. It's like let's finish the idea and make a song out of it. Just don't put a bunch of scraps together.
Yes.
So with Illumination, the trick was to get the main theme to fit inside the intro. This might be getting a little bit technical, but if you
No.
listen again, the main theme, da 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 da, very simple theme. I kind of maneuvered it into the intro, which sort of made it flow, and it just was the key to the whole thing working.
Yes.
And I'm like, I did it. I did it. I finally was able to use this nice intro that I didn't know what to do with. It was a long journey. I think it worked. People responded to that song probably the most off the record. Yeah, loved it. It almost didn't happen because I could never get the right arrangement.
Right. And they're fitting in well with the other songs from your back catalog live.
Yeah, I think the whole record is like it's an elevated version of my entire catalog. Actually, this is going to sound weird, but I think it's so good that I kind of like my previous stuff less because I'm so pleased of this.
Right.
It's just really weird when I think I've finally evolved to the point where I feel like I'm in the zone. It's really weird. I never felt this way before. I've always done the best I could. I've always been very satisfied with everything, and
Yes.
I still love everything that I've released because at the time it was the best I could do. But I think now I have powers that I didn't have before. Happened with drama. Even with drama, now that we've been playing some of the songs live, I feel like they're better live than they even were on record. So
Yes.
there's something in my DNA that's evolving. I don't know why it's deciding to evolve now. I'm not in my early 20s anymore. I don't know why I'm getting this growth spurt now, but I'm not complaining, and it's a happy thing.
Yeah, it's the whole evolution, but you keep reinventing it and just doing something different that creatively. I love that. You're always pushing the boundaries, Marty. That's what I like about your
Pushing,
style. So
pushing
let's
it.
talk about Dreaming Japanese. The book came out last year. The book came out
Yep,
last year.
in December.
Yes. Okay.
It's
Brand
fresh.
new.
It's new. It just came out. Yeah.
So tell us about the whole process. When did you start thinking about doing this, and how did you do it? Did you have a dictaphone? Did you have, okay, this the era that I want to talk about, or were you typing it away?
Well, I knew someday I was going to write an autobiography. I've always kind of had a manuscript going,
Right.
probably started maybe at least 10 years ago, just having a very rough manuscript going because I knew the day would come. But that work paled in comparison to the actual work of getting started to do it for real. But it was a good starting point because it showed me what was important then. It kind of reminded me of things. And once I started writing the real manuscript for it, I realized how glad that I was that I never really got into drugs or alcohol
Yes.
after my teens. When I was a teen, I was full on hell bent on getting wasted all the time. But as soon as I was 17, I was completely clean and straight up until now. So I'm very glad about that because my memory is just crystal clear.
Yes.
Every detail. It's not like, well, what happened back then? No, every single thing is retained clearly.
Yes.
So I was very happy about that. Writing the book, I made my main criteria to be things, personal things, private things that belong in an
Yes.
autobiography, not in an interview or not somewhere on the internet. So usually in interviews, you talk about the latest record or tour or things like that, but you don't talk about family and you don't talk about interband relationships or the people around your life. You don't talk about those things and sexual things and so my criteria was everything that no one knows about me and my experience in every band, every family situation, every album, every tour. And I just went methodically one by one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me look good all the time, one thing I wanted to avoid, like when I see some people's autobiographies, sometimes it looks like a resume.
Yes.
I did this, I did that, and this was great. And I found that less interesting. I found it more interesting when people say the things that they regret or things where, I did this and it was really not a very nice thing to do. Things that just kind of coming clean on things, letting
Yes.
things out,
Yes.
people,
Was that
people in
hard
my
for you, Marty?
position. And
Was that hard for you?
at first I'm like, why do I have to go this? My mom didn't want me to say all these things.
Oh,
She was like,
right.
there's no
Right.
people need to know this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, a lot of people, especially guitar players, I have no idea why. And I love it. But fans who idolize us, they just put us up there really high.
Yes.
I think in an autobiography, it's a time to be as human as you possibly can and say things that might embarrass the writer of the book, but it'll bring us closer to the fans so they don't think that we're
Yes.
necessarily this untouchable, non-human hero, and hopefully bring a little bit more humanness to our relationship. But when I finished the book, I'm like, oh my God, so now people know all this embarrassing shit about me. And maybe I should have kept it quiet. But I think that's what makes it easy to read. And so far, the reviews and the response has been just beyond my wildest dreams. So I
But
don't
you're
care if
human,
people know
Marty.
some.
You're
Yeah,
human, Marty.
unfortunately, I'm human. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for better, for
everybody
worse.
everybody makes mistakes, right? What you said before about you being sober, I was a big Megadeth fan. I still am a big Megadeth, and to actually have a deep dive and see what actually happened, and you were quoting things that, okay, now I get why you did that. Okay, understand why you did that now. So yeah, the one thing that I took away from it was that what you said just then about you being completely sober and during the Megadeth era as well. That, I mean, Temptations, Marty. No?
Oh God, I was not tempted by anything. Because, like in the book, I shared all about my teenage years where I was just the hardest partier. And I like lived three lifetimes by the time I was 17.
Yes.
And so once I stopped everything, I could clearly see how drugs were just completely messing up people's lives. And it made losers out of really good people, people with talent, people with intelligence, and
Yes.
people with potential, and not people who are evil, good people that just drugs fucked them up.
Yes.
So there was no temptation at all because I saw what happened and I already had my fun, I luckily escaped it.
Yes.
But I saw what happened to these people. I'm like, no way. Most of my trouble happened just from too much of the, you know, messing with the ladies, you know what I mean? That was my
Yes.
temptation
Yes.
was there, sex, drugs, and rock and roll without the drugs.
Yes.
And you can still get in a lot of trouble there too, believe me. But yeah, so the drugs, I was not tempted in the least. It served me well. It's kept my brain really intact. And for the book, there was no like blurriness about things. And during the Megadeth years, I was completely sharp as a tack the whole time. I remember everything
That's
in great detail. And a lot of times I wasn't the guy in those days where the media would come to for really juicy stories.
right.
I was the guy the media would come to with guitar stuff,
Yes. Yes.
guitar stuff, Japan stuff. Then the media would come to me. But like for the juicy details of interpersonal things, I
You'd
was
be
not the
Dave.
guy. So I have a
Dave
whole
Mustaine.
story that's never been told before, and now's the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Going back at the start, there was a a quote about quaaludes and sex or something like that. And I was like,
Ah,
oh my God.
oh yes, oh yes. So I assume you understand the allure of that.
A good mix or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be tempted to do that now, but
For new fans, you grew up in Washington, D.C. in the US, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So, growing up, were your mother and father, were they in the entertainment industry? Were they musicians?
not at all. I mean, my family, no one is musical. They like music. They had albums, but no one played an instrument. No one was even remotely in the music business. They didn't know what to make of it, but they supported me for a long time, much longer than most parents do. I mean, as you see in the book, I was like 27 years old before I even made a dime from music.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's like really friggin' old, man. So all of the struggles, usually like if you try music, you go maybe you're 22, 23, 25, and my folks supported me even after that. So I couldn't pay them back anything till well after that.
Yes.
So I was very fortunate with that, but
They must have known that you had a gift and a talent to play guitar, right?
I think so, yeah. And I think they knew that probably I was going to do what I was going to do with or without their support. So I think they knew that their support was going to make my life a little bit easier because without that, I would have still done music, but I would have been couch surfing all the time and living with strange people I didn't know. Well, I still did that anyway, as you see in the book, but
Yes.
I would have done a whole lot more of it because I'm not suited for anything else, and I wasn't back then either.
Yeah. Reading about that you tried out or you're going to try out for Madonna. You got a phone call to try out for Kiss. Is that true?
Oh, it's
And
true.
so, what was your thoughts on that? I mean, I know you say a lot about that in the book. What could have been if you joined Madonna, right?
Yeah, it was very close to happening. The Madonna audition was on a Friday, and the same week the Megadeth was audition was on a Tuesday.
Right.
So it would have been the other way around. Well, to be probably honest, I probably wasn't the best guy for the Madonna gig, so I wouldn't have got that. I might have got it. Probably what would have happened was if Madonna was on a Tuesday and Megadeth was on a Friday, I would have
Wow.
done Madonna. They would have said, okay, we'll think about it, and then I would have done Megadeth on Friday anyway. I just thought about it that way just right now for the first time, but the lucky thing was I did Megadeth on a Tuesday and I didn't have to do Madonna, although I was prepared to do it. And of course, I liked the music of Megadeth a million times more. And I was a Madonna fan. I love her music too. Megadeth was right for me
Yeah.
at the time, and it
So,
was my
so,
first step into the real world.
so was it? Did Dave Mustaine? Did he listen to the first album? Was he like a huge fan of yours before you tried out?
I don't want to say he was a huge fan,
Okay.
but he heard the first album before I auditioned. He said he liked the guitar playing on that album. I think he is a more of a riff guy than a solo
Yes.
guy and more
Yes.
of a song guy than an epic kind of guy. So I think he liked my guitar playing more than my riffs or songwriting, which I understand. But they were looking for a lead guitar player, so that was perfect. So yeah, he heard my Dragon's Kiss album before I auditioned.
Yes.
And when I auditioned, it was just right. Felt like I was playing with my high school buddies again.
Yeah. Right. Looking back on it now, what do you think about that album?
Well, I think it was a great start.
Yeah.
Um, it was pretty rushed being put together. I was just starting with the band Cacophony, and the
Yes.
label said, "Why don't you do a solo album too?" And I had just already exhausted all of my material for Cacophony. So coming up with material really quickly and recording on a budget, a very tight budget, was quite stressful, but like I just wanted it so bad. I wanted to keep producing more better music. And there's some stuff on there I really, really love. I still play Dragon Mistress today. I
Awesome.
play I love the song Forbidden City. I think it stood
Still
the
stands.
test of time.
Yes.
And the rest of the album is also okay. It's a good start. You know, of course, I would do things different now, but at that time, it was absolutely the best I could do, and I was proud of it.
Yeah. And speaking of those bands, Jason Becker, what does that name mean to you?
You know, he's like my inspiration to get up in the morning. I mean, he is
Yes.
the ultimate human being, the ultimate artist, just the ultimate inspiration, just a positive influence on anyone who's lucky enough to cross his path, whether it be it through his music or actually meeting him. He just means the world to me. And in my book, I go into great detail
Yes.
of our relationship. But he's just a wonderful, wonderful person to exist in the world. He's just the best.
Yes. And reading about the tryout for Megadeth, I didn't know that Dimebag Darrell also tried out for lead guitar for Megadeth. I was just blown away to hear that. Did you see any of his sessions?
No, and I probably didn't know that at the time, and I'm not sure I even knew who Pantera was at the time.
Oh yeah, right,
And I was just told that they auditioned like about 60 guys,
right.
and no, none of them were working out. After I was in the band, they started telling me about the guys they auditioned, and a lot of horror stories, people doing things that they shouldn't do at auditions,
Yes.
overplaying or hamming it up or acting all rock starish. And
Audition process for you detailed it a lot in the book how strenuous it was.
hey, I don't think it was that strenuous. I mean, what I was about to say is that thing about Megadeth is, myself included, we're kind of like the boys next door. None of us were like posturing rock stars. None of us had tattoos or wore like Jack Daniels t-shirts or the whatever the Sunset Strip regalia was at the time. We were just like regular dudes that played our asses off.
Yes.
And so guys would come to the audition all decked out with mascara or whatever, or using their whammy bar and everything and just rock starring out. And luckily, that's not my personality, and it wasn't the personality of the rest of the band. So it just fit right in. We were just dudes who played.
Yes.
If you look at our photos, we're just wearing like regular clothes and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
That's very important and probably more important than the actual playing in a lot of situations. You have to fit in with the personalities.
Yes. It was an amazing career. I started listening to Megadeth around the Cryptic Writings, that era, and then with the Risk, and then went into the whole back catalog. But the change in music, was that just progressive? Like Rust in Peace, in my opinion, one of the best heavy metal albums ever. The progression to make it more rock and less guitar solos, was that a conscious thing or?
Very clearly laid out in the book. But the short answer is, I think any, and this is not only Megadeth, this is in any situation
Yes,
in my career and probably most musicians' careers, once they start to reach the next level in their success, whether it being going from a a local band to playing out of state and then playing out of country or going from indies to a major label, once you start making that rise, you start to see, hey, there is ways that we can make this even bigger.
yes,
And now we got our foot in the door. And now if we just kind of go a little bit more into that commercial direction, we can see the big picture. We can see the big success. It's just one more step away. So you're consciously trying to make that bigger step. Okay, this album went gold. How can we make it go platinum?
Yes.
And then when the album goes platinum, okay, let's take that a little bit farther. And then you see it go double platinum. Now you're in a multi-platinum situation and you're seeing even bigger things. Okay, we're staying on, we're staying in five-star hotels now, and we have a luxurious tour bus. How do we move that up to a private jet? Okay. And
Yes.
you start to seeing each little step of success. Sometimes it works, sometimes it bites you in the ass, but the pursuit of success and the higher step on the ladder, that's always there.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of luck to keep moving up. And when you move down, it's really hard to climb back up once you've kind of fallen down. And it hurts
Yes.
and it's embarrassing and it sucks. And so all of that's in the book in great detail.
Yes.
That's what makes the story interesting, really. I mean, if it
And
was
that, and
all
that's
success,
yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Marty. You really opened up on it, and you told the truth rather than you said no bashing, just the truth. I think that's a
yeah.
great
And the
quote.
thing is, no excuses. You know what I
Yes,
mean? A lot of things, when you don't sell, you say, well, the A&R record, the A&R person got fired and they put a new guy who didn't know what to do. The label didn't support us.
yes,
Um, a million excuses
yes,
why things didn't happen. Sometimes you got to say, look, we just sold out. The fans weren't buying it. We failed,
yes,
and when you say that, it opens the floodgates to a lot of honesty and a lot of good reading, to be honest.
yes.
And so I try to focus on that.
And what's interesting as a fan, it was so sad, and I was crushed that you left Megadeth, but the next album was back to their heavy roots, big guitar solos, double kick, back to their hardcore heavy metal styles. So if it takes something like that to rejuvenate them, then I guess that's a positive thing, right?
Playing heavy metal music is what Megadeth does best. We kind of peaked commercially at Cryptic Writings, I think, as far as having like hit song type of things,
Yes.
songs that get on the radio, songs that bring not only guys but girls. And on that tour, there
Yeah.
were a lot of girls on that tour, and there were a
Yes.
lot of festivals that we played on with very commercial acts. So I think that was probably the peak. But as you can see in the book, Megadeth is metal, and they do
Yes.
metal the best. So we
Yes.
had a little success with commercial music, great. So after I left, I think maybe they felt, let's go to back what we do best. I don't know what
Yeah.
their decisions were like, but they did a great job.
Yeah. And that's what I found maybe the most interesting in the book is you telling us very in depth about how you left Megadeth. And I want to get your opinion on if somebody is in that similar situation where they're playing music in a band. It doesn't have to be a successful one, but just playing in a band and they feel like they're not creatively, but they don't want to leave the band because they don't want to let their other bandmates down. So, what advice do you have for people in that situation?
It really boils down to how much do you believe in your art?
Yes.
How much do you believe, not necessarily believe in the possible success of your art? How much does that art mean to your personal well-being, your personal character? How much does it mean to be able to put your own John Smith's music out there and focus on that? How much does that mean? You just got to weigh that in, you know what I mean? And it's hard. the hardest thing was, the music business is a complete crapshoot. It's like the lottery. And even though Megadeth was kind of on the downslide when I left, we were still definitely selling gold.
Yes.
A gold, that is nothing to sneeze about. And like I said in the book, it's like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. You're leaving a
Yeah.
gold selling band. You got nothing. You're gonna make this weird exotic music, and you're gonna, no one's gonna buy it. It's too weird. It's too exotic. It's too foreign, or whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for money? So those are all the things in your mind, but I think an artist has a responsibility. A true artist with the definition of artist is just going to follow their artistic muse, however unrealistic that is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, if you're born to make a certain kind of music, that's what you're going to do. Some people, and maybe more intelligent people, will say, look, I know my art is super eclectic. I'm going to, fight it out in this situation that I'm in because I can make a paycheck. I can pay my rent. In my case, the artistic muse was just too strong. It won out. So I think each person has to judge for themselves how good they're going to feel when they have the freedom to do whatever the hell they want. And when they put their name on it, it's 100% theirs. And that's what did it for me. And
Yes.
it forced me to work so hard. And in the book, you'll see, how I eventually far eclipsed all the success I did in Megadeth, albeit in a much different forum
Yes.
in the Japanese world of music and entertainment. But that's exactly what I wanted to do. So
Yes.
it was a win-win for everybody. I was very lucky, making it in music it's a crapshoot. It's winning the lottery. It has nothing to do with talent or how hard you work. All luck. But as far as making that decision for advice, you just have to think of how much you want to dedicate to how much that art means to you.
Yes. That's so inspiring, Marty. It's not music related, but I had a similar situation too. I made the decision to move to China to come and start just something fresh, to do something different and be a creative and see how far I could push myself, learn a new language just like yourself. And I have. I've got more confidence, and I've really it's changed my whole life. But I still have people that maybe not criticize, but they still don't understand why I made that decision. So, do you have family? Do you have friends like that when you did decide to move to Japan?
I think my family and friends were all supportive. Of course, they'd probably prefer that I was closer, lived
Yes.
closer. I think the criticism, if there was any at all, it might have come from fans because, fans and myself included, if you like a particular era or a lineup of a group, you want it to stay that way forever. It's
Yes.
yours. I mean, I feel that same way about the makeup era of Kiss. That's mine. I own that. I own those
Yes.
guys. I
Yes.
don't want them to split up. And the four original Ramones, I don't want, the new guys breathed new life into the band and were fantastic. Those four guys, I don't want, it's mine. It's my
Yes.
image. So I totally understand the fans who were not happy when I left Megadeth. And
Me
it
too.
kind of makes me happy that I created something that they love so much that if a part of it leaves, they're upset about it. So I'm happy about that. I don't like disappointing anybody, but in your case, I completely get it because to make such a big career change and a life change to go to China from Australia, it was obviously something inside of you that had to be done. It's your life and you knew you had to do it. It's not something that you can easily do. It takes an insane amount of effort, just fortitude and will, and just a lot of hard times and putting up with stuff where you're in just a weird and awkward situation.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to me in Japan. You can read it in the book, but I'm sure you understand it because it would be so much easier to stay in your country,
Yes.
no cultural issues. But life is only once. You got to do the crazy shit, man.
That's
You
right.
got to do the things that are interesting. You got to write your own story. And that includes doing things that are very counterintuitive,
Yes.
and some people are going to be against you, but you know what? People are jealous because people stay in their state their whole life. And when people branch out and do things that seem ridiculous, they're just jealous because it's so fun doing crazy shit.
Yes.
But it takes balls to get out of your comfort zone. I get it. And like people should follow your lead. And, sometimes you have a crazy dream. Oh, I'll never do that crazy ass dream.
Yes.
Fucking do it.
Yes,
I'll
exactly.
never
Yeah.
go to Egypt. Fucking do it. You
Yes.
only live once. And if you fail, so what? You've got a great story. But
Yes.
maybe it's part of your life. Maybe for you, being in China is an important part of your life, important enough for you to live there and learn the language. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe someone would think the same way and go there and try it out, say, you know what? I'm glad I tried it, but I'm going to
Wasn't for
go
me.
home. It wasn't for me, but like, why not try it?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to discover an amazing thing that you never would have discovered. So if you get anything out of my book, and I'm sure your story is very similar and equally inspiring, if you get anything out of it, just do the insane things in your mind, whether you're prepared or not, and see where that takes you because it's very a short period of time that we have to do these things. We're healthy, our brain is intact. Can't hurt to try this stuff.
Yeah. And there's so many things that you've done in Japan, and we could spend another 3 or 4 hours talking about that. I heard that you've been in a movie recently, you've been on talk shows. It just goes to show that if you put your mind to it and you take a risk, you know where it can take you. So your achievements
True.
after Megadeth have been inspirational for me, Marty. So really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Just to finish off, one or two fan questions, if you don't mind, and then we'll finish off
Sure.
that. Okay. So we've got Eddie from Argentina who's living in Shanghai, says he's going to the show in Shanghai. He wants to know, how did you become a fan of River Plate FC? And have you ever tried to play soccer before?
Big shout out to Eddie from Argentina. I love Argentina. Can't wait to play there. Aguante. Um, I suck at all sports. I love sports. I would prefer to be a sports person than a rock person. Like most normal kids, sports is the dream. I wasn't as bad as you think. I sucked, but I wasn't like throw like a girl kind of suck. I just sucked. I'd be like maybe 50 out of 100, maybe a D minus sports player. And I played soccer. I sucked. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm very, very good friends with Pipi Piazzolla and
Oh,
Piazzolla family
right.
and all of the Escalandrum people and the people playing Piazzolla's music in Argentina, and they're River Plate fans. And Pipi gave me a River Plate jersey, and so I'm an honorary River Plate fan. But I don't want to alienate the other fans of the other soccer teams. I just love Argentina, so I don't want to get in any fights.
Yes.
Um, that's the story.
Excellent. This one is from Dylan in Eugene, Oregon, US. Was Marty a Jackson guy pre Megadeth? He's talking about Jackson guitars.
Yes, way pre-Megadeth. My first Jackson guitar was the first really good guitar that I actually purchased. I was in a band called Hawaii and living in Hawaii, and we were indies kind of an underground band, and that was my first good guitar. Eugene, Oregon, there's a big, big story in my book about Eugene, Oregon that I won't say here, but Eugene, Oregon is a very important landmark in my story and in Megadeth's story, so check that out. But Jackson, yeah, I was a Jackson guy when they first started. They were the first company to make shaped guitars that are of very, very high quality.
Absolutely. Great sound. And the last one, Stephen from the UK, also living in Shanghai. What was it like working with Jeff Loomis' solo album from Nevermore?
Oh, Jeff is a good friend of mine. I just saw him a couple months ago. We played together in, I don't know if we played, yeah, we did. We played together at Metal Allegiance. I've known him for a long time. He played on one of my records. I played on one of his records. An absolutely fantastic, humble guy, a wonderful guitar player. Not that this would ever happen, but if there was ever to be a Cacophony reunion and Jason Becker couldn't do it, Jeff would be the guy I would call because he's like kind of cut from the same cloth. He kind of learned a lot from me and Jason and took that into the stratosphere with his own playing. So he's a super, super guitar player and a great guy.
Awesome. On that note, Marty, I could talk to you for another 2 or 3 hours, but you're on a busy schedule, so I will let you go. Truly an inspiration to me, and I really look forward to seeing you in Shanghai next month.
All right. Thanks, Craig. I'll see you in Shanghai.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it.
Thanks, Marty.
Take care.
Hi, I'm Tony Fair, founder of Victorian Grooming Company. Is your beard feeling dry or the skin underneath itchy? Maybe you'd rather soften and tame your beard instead. Our classic collection of beard oils, balms, and soaps will leave your beard looking, feeling, and smelling amazing. And if you prefer shaving, our pre-shave oils and shave soaps will give you a smooth and razor burn-free shave. Handmade in Edmonton with natural ingredients. Visit VictorianGrooming.com.